Susan, it looks like you made it on, so that's good.
Yes, Eric, I started a half an hour ago.
Way to play it safe. I love your high ceilings, by the way. That seems like a very nice room.
Thank you. Yes, I'm on the upper floor. We have an open thing. The living room is behind me, below me.
Okay.
It goes all the way up.
Sure.
Okay. Have you got students listening in again?
I do this time. It should be the last time that they do so. Well, unless they want to. The last time they're supposed to attend. But I figured
It's a
since we're doing
class assignment, huh?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
But since we're doing a joint meeting with the city, I thought it wouldn't be that bad for them to know that the city also has a commission that deals with these issues.
How many you've got listening in?
There should be just 4 of them, and they are all social work
Or like
seniors.
before?
And
Right.
so 2 of them are serving at New Hope for Families, kind of the family institution here. Then there is 1 at Crawford Homes, and then 1 is serving in Owen County, Spencer Pride. So those are the 4 students that I think will be calling in tonight. And all of them are getting ready to graduate in May, fingers crossed. I think they'll all do so.
So Bachelor of Social Work?
Yeah, BSW program, yeah. IU recently, Bloomington recently got a master's social work program, but its focus is on substance use and mental health. And so those are good things, but I don't do a whole lot at the clinical level that they do with that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know all the current members of the city. I suppose we will learn that soon enough. I knew the members a couple years ago, but not sure how much it's changed.
I looked them up on the website, so I think looks like Byron and Valerie Houghton are off now because they have their names up, but then underneath it says vacant. So the ones that are listed are Carolyn Calloway Thomas, Pamela Jackson, Erin McAllister, Ryan Shadday, and Latosha Williams. So we'll see.
Yep.
I wrote them down in case I'm doing the minutes this time. I'm not sure. Last time Barbara McKinney did the minutes.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I haven't seen Barbara for a little while, so it'll be nice to see her again. And then we should have our new attorney, I imagine, on the line. There's Barbara.
And I'm here and I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me before. How are you?
Yeah. Doing well. Anyone else waiting in our waiting room? Nope, I don't think so.
And were you asking who was on the commission, the Bloomington Commission, or what was your question? I didn't hear all that.
Yeah, I just saying I knew the members a couple years ago. I'm not sure who your current members are.
Oh, okay. Well, they all should be here in a second. We could go through the introductions real quickly if you want to.
Yeah, no worries.
Eric,
This may be
the
a
other-
last meeting, I hope.
Oh, last Zoom meeting, you say?
I hope so, yeah.
Eric, the other thing I noticed when I was looking up the website for the Bloomington Human Rights is that Margie Rise is still listed as our counsel. So the website needs to change for that. It's got our new member on, it's got everybody's on that's on the commission, but we need to change and put Jeff Cockrell on.
Yeah, especially hopefully Jeff's getting the emails that he needs to receive. Not that we get a whole lot of them, but
Well, I know he got at least one discrimination complaint because it was in the city and he called me and sent it to me. So he got one.
okay. Yeah, I'm guessing that happens quite a bit with the ones we get. But
Not that often, but it has
Yeah.
happened. And sometimes people are very adamant, they live in the city, but they don't, but their address is Bloomington. and-
yes, yep. What do you mean I'm not in Bloomington or whatever it is? Yeah.
I always ask what color are the police cars, and that helps. People tend to know that. We may have a little problem with our attendance. Judge Val Houghton was in court at least an hour ago for a hearing that was never ending. I know Aaron is driving home with kids and will try to do it from the car, all that fun stuff. And Ryan had another meeting at 4 and hoped to be here by 5.
Great.
Well, yeah.
Who's the new corporate counsel after Philippa left? I know that's been a while.
That's great.
Okay,
She seems really good.
good.
Susan, you thought you wouldn't make it?
I started a half an hour ago, Kathy.
Okay, well, I was gonna say you beat the rest of us. Cool. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Doris. Hi, Eric.
Hi, Doris.
Hi. Hi, Barbara. Haven't
Hello.
seen you since the last parade.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's the only time we see you with funny hats on and
Right.
I hope we have a real parade this year. The last one was a little strange.
that was interesting. That was very
Reverse
good.
parade, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just I feel like a beauty queen. Yeah.
Yeah, I like a traditional one, I think. So.
Yeah.
Well, the city did its best at trying to make sure we had something.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm liking the suit today, Kathleen. It's
Oh.
it's very powerful. Yes.
My red power suit, huh? Thank you.
It's very powerful.
Yeah, well, I'm retiring in June, so I'm looking at all the business suits in my closet, wondering what's going to happen to them all.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
my.
Every woman I know just gives them away.
Yeah.
My
One.
sister's closet. Yeah.
Yep. I've got those on my list for sure.
Get all your, Kathy, did you get all your students off to their assignments?
They are all over the world. It is amazing. They're a lot braver than I am, that's for sure. Yeah, we have over 1,000 of them and they're everywhere. Yeah. I mean, there's
Wow.
some parts of the world that are still not open. Japan's not open. Australia is just beginning to open. China's been closed down. It's kind of interesting.
I'm supposed to go to Italy in April on 14th to the 28th. So we'll see how that goes.
You'll be okay unless something creeps up and surprises us all. So yeah, we've had students in Italy since last September.
Cool.
Yeah,
Glad to hear it.
yep. And doing well.
They just lifted their vaccination requirement, I see.
Yeah.
Has anyone heard from Jeff out of curiosity since the transition? Other than Barbara, apparently.
I have.
Okay. Did you know if he's coming tonight? Presumably he would be, but
I would assume so, yes.
so we can hold off.
I've heard of him. I've heard from him because I have an outstanding
There
case.
Here he comes.
Jeff's
Jeff's
here.
here.
I was in the waiting room or the,
Oh yeah, it looks like we got another member too that needs to be switched over. At least Goldburn there is one of our commission members. So if whoever has control over that can do
That must
so.
be Andrew, right?
I believe so. There we go.
I just promoted him.
Thanks, Andrew.
Such power.
And I do not know the Aaron. Is Aaron McAllister a city member?
A city member, right.
Okay. And the other 4 I do know, they are not members.
Hi, Goldberg.
Oh, well, it's 5:01. Should we go ahead and call it to order and go from there, I suppose? Or do you think anyone is encountering technical issues?
We don't have a quorum of the BHRC, but if you've got a quorum of the MCHRC, go ahead, let them join in. I'm not sure how to do that. Not quite sure how to handle that. What do you think, Jeff?
I think if we got a quorum of one of them, we should just go ahead and get started. I know that you guys had an action item that we put on the agenda for you. So you may want to keep an eye on the attendees to see if you have another member show up.
Yeah,
I-
I'm thinking more will show up. Yeah,
I think
may-
Ryan is planning to attend, but he'll be a little late.
right.
Yeah, and I think Carolyn is planning on coming.
I am
Carolyn.
here, but I will be leaving at 6, so I have another meeting, so.
And Val's in court and said she had a hearing. It was a never ending hearing, but she'll join us if she can.
Yeah, so I will leave about 5 minutes till 6.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and call it to order. I think it's my meeting now, isn't it, Kathy? I was just elected our last commission meeting to chair of the county. So as we do our roll call, I figure maybe we can do a very brief introduction to the city folks in case they don't know us. So I'm Eric, the current chair, and I teach at Indiana University in the Business Law and Ethics Department over at the Business School.
And I'm Kathleen Sidelli, just stepped out of the chair role of the Monroe County Human Rights Commission after quite a few years. I work at Indiana University. As I mentioned to some, I work in sending students to other countries, which has been an interesting career in the last 2 years, and will be retiring from that position at the end of June.
I'm Susan Gray. I've been on the commission for a couple of years. I'm retired from being an autism specialist.
Latasha's trying to get in, apparently. She's one of the commissioners.
She's just switched over now.
Okay.
Doris, you want to go ahead?
Sure. I'm Doris Parlett. I think this is my 4th term on the commission. I'm retired from both the Indiana Department of Correction and the Indiana Department of Child Services. And I'm currently in Florida.
And I'm Byron Bangert, and I think everybody already knows who I am since I'm on both commissions.
Oh, I don't know who you are, Byron.
We have Goldburn.
I'm Goldburn Maynard. I just joined the commission last month. I am a professor at the business school where I teach business ethics.
Welcome.
Awesome. So that is us. Why don't we go ahead and turn it over?
Okay,
to the
I need to
side?
introduce myself.
Yeah,
Oh.
no, yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Carolyn, yeah.
I'm Carolyn Calloway Thomas. I'm professor and director of graduate studies in the Department of African American and African Diaspora Studies, and I'm also the secretary of the Bloomington Human Rights Commission. Nice to see everybody. And Maynard, especially since you have arrived, it's good to see you.
Other city folks want to let us know who you are?
Latasha, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi there, friends. I'm Latasha Williams. I'm a Bloomington Human Rights Commissioner. Just started my 2nd term at the beginning of this month. So pleased to be here with you all. Within the city, I work at Indiana University as an associate director for student conduct and res life. So lots of fun times with students. And decision making. I'm also a volunteer with CJAM, the Community Justice and Mediation Center, and a host of other things within the community. But I'm happy to be here with you all this evening.
I'm Erin McAllister. I've been a commissioner for just over a year. And I wear a lot of different hats, working with different small businesses online and in the community. I work with My Sister's Closet as their e-commerce manager and grant assistant. And that's me.
Also, special welcome to our staffers and attorneys. Barbara McKinney over at the city. And Jeff is actually, this is Jeff's first meeting, at least in a while. I think he used to staff this a bit ago, but Margie Rice has transitioned out of county government. And I don't know if either of you want to say things, you're welcome to do so.
I just want to say I love Goldburn's background. That's beautiful. I want to live there.
No, I think that's right. I handled the Human Rights Commission before Margie Rice came on. And so, you know, we're going through a process of hiring that position back, and depending on background of whoever we hire, things like that, we'll, as an office, decide who's assigned to what commissions and what offices. So this may be a short thing and this may be a long-term thing. I can't tell you until that happens.
Gotcha. Thanks, Jeff. And briefly before, Susan had noted the website still lists Margie in terms of the county side. So it wouldn't be bad to make sure we have at least someone checking that email address. I'm sure that's happening, but maybe switching a name or changing that website up if you're able to follow up on that.
Okay.
All righty. So I suppose our next agenda topic that we had on board is discussion between groups. Maybe some of my colleagues, I've been in and out the last couple of years with teaching assignments. And so I know there's been a lot of interest for quite some time now of us all getting together. So could some folks, I didn't know if anyone had specifics they wanted to make sure that we're able to address together, or more broader discussion on community issues we wanted to bring together. And Kathy, maybe you as our past chair can help guide me in terms of what our intentions were here.
Well, I think it first came up because we were getting people contacting us confused about which commission to go to when they had to lodge a complaint. I think that's really how, and those of us, you know, Byron has the advantage of being like Janice, right? He's got a face in each commission. And the rest of us, I had not, except for, as we were saying before, the July parade where Carolyn and Barbara and other people we would march together, and we thought, isn't it ironic? The only time we have any communication is just for this fun thing in July. So I think it was just kind of, we're working towards similar ends and wanting to understand. At first, we started analyzing one another's websites, and the city has a very robust website with lots of information, and we were feeling a little like our site was not giving maybe enough information to people. So I think in the beginning it was like, how can we work together to guide people to understand where they go when they have a problem? And I think Barbara helped guide us in terms of what we can and cannot do, right, in terms of collaboration on website. And other than that, it was like, well, why not have a joint meeting every once in a while? So since we're working towards similar goals.
And I just see a text from Val. She says she can't get into the deleted word meeting if somebody can get her in. And I hope you've all looked at the city's website. We have updated quite a bit, and we do have a lot of information what the county commission does and what we do to try to clarify that. Whether we're getting visitors, I haven't checked on that yet, but it is a lot more information now, and we're trying to improve it all the time.
Yeah, so that was a joint accomplishment. I think it would not have happened if we hadn't either talked to each other and not just let, you know, the legal resources that we have speak to each other.
Right.
I'll just kind of open up the floor to see who else would like to bring something to the attention. I always have things I can say, but I'd rather not.
Well, if I can mention a couple of things, we won a grant through the Lilly Lead Forward Fund. My assistant Nicole was able to get a grant, and we're going to have 4 things going on in the spring and summer. We're going to have a fair housing workshop with a box lunch, a fair employment workshop with a box lunch, diversity, equity, and inclusion workshop, again with a box lunch. We're hoping these will be mostly in person, don't know that yet. And we're also going to have a cleanup day where we're going to go clean up a neighborhood and hand out BHRC materials. And we're working with the chamber to get co-sponsorship of that, and maybe the Monroe County Apartment Association to get co-sponsorship. CJAM is working with us, and we welcome you guys working with us on those things as we firm up those plans. They're a little vague right now. But I think it's a good opportunity to sort of start getting back to normal and be doing more of these things.
do you have dates, tentative dates or anything at this point?
They keep changing, so I will send them to you as soon as I have them. We definitely wanted to do the fair housing one in April. That's the fair housing month, but it turns out Monroe County Apartment Association was doing something the day before, and we didn't think we'd get property managers coming to 2 things back to back. So we're pushing things back a bit. So long answer, no, not yet, sorry.
Oh, well, on the county side, I know the last couple of years, really, our push and focus has been on different criminal justice issues with the jail, and not just the jail, but in general at the county level. Unfortunately, I know we've had a few setbacks here and there, but I know it's something we're still keeping our focus on, and we probably need to regroup and determine what our next steps are on a few of those issues. I know Margie, before she had left, had mentioned, is it a weekly or bi-weekly meeting that is going on at the county level that perhaps it would benefit by having some human rights presence on? And Jeff, you might know more of what's happening with kind of criminal justice issues.
Well, I think, and I don't think this is news to anybody on this call, is we had a huge report and a huge study done that basically focused, yes, on the system itself, but we also, one of the components of that report was things we could do post entering the system and pre-entering the system. And I know that the committee that I think she's referring to is our Criminal Justice Coordinating Committee, which involves the city or the county council and county commissioners getting together, reviewing that report to kind of determine hey, what can we do to keep people out of our system? Or once they're through the system, to get them so they don't return, because that is a goal that has huge human rights components, but as well as fiscal impacts and any other kind of component you want to talk about. I think that they are meeting every other week right now, and I can get you their meeting schedules and the Zoom link for that. Even once we have to go back to in-person meetings, I think most, if not all, the county meetings will still have a Zoom component so people can watch and do that. So I think that's kind of what the meeting you're referring to. And I would tell you probably in the next 3 or 4 years, that's going to be a real focus for county activity, because we've got a problem and we've got to solve it. And we'd like to solve it in a way that is not a traditional look at solving a poor facility problem. We want to focus a lot more on getting people the help they need so they don't enter the system, and that they have the support they need so they don't re-enter the system.
Jeff, I think that's a lovely idea. I am the co-chair of the Bloomington and Monroe County Policing Task Force, and we have not gotten as much support from Monroe County as we would like in terms of what's happening with citizens in Monroe County and their encounters with police. And I was wondering whether you have any insights into what's happening in terms of those kinds of issues.
I would say I don't directly, but I think one of the other attorneys in our office handles the sheriff's department, who I think would have a better understanding of those kind of issues. I could reach out to him. I think he's left today on vacation, so he won't be back for a week. But he would be my first stop, and I think I can always reach out to. I guess.
Do you wish to disclose his name?
Oh, yeah, it's Lee Baker. Lee Baker is the attorney who handles the sheriff's department. I guess my initial question is, and I think the answer is probably both, because we have the road side of the sheriff's department and we have the jail side of the sheriff's department. They deal with two separate, what I consider two separate kind of types of issues. And, I've been involved in the past on some of the jail issues because it involves facilities and things like that really have a lot of commissioner contact, which is one of the group that I represent more of. So I'm aware of a lot of the jail stuff, but I I guess I'd want to get more details from you. And my email is jcockerl@co.monroe.in.us. If you have questions that you've been asking, go ahead and forward them to me, and I can make sure Lee gets those, and I could get you the answers that I know of.
Okay, thank you.
And folks may pay attention. I am not in the inner loop of this, but my understanding is there's another person running for sheriff. And anytime there is possible transition in leadership, that carries possible opportunities with it. So.
And I think it's not a potential new. I think it has to be a new because
Is he? I didn't know if that was.
I think he's term limited to 2 terms, and this is ending Sheriff Swain's second term.
Right.
So there will be a new sheriff next year.
Jeff, the way you put the issue of criminal justice raised the question for me. It sounded as if you were saying new or renovated facilities for the jail are now on the back burner or off the table, and the focus is on pre and post incarceration.
I
Did I hear you right?
No, I did not intend to say that. We have the Criminal Justice Coordinating Committee is looking at a lot of the pre and post jail issues. We have the courts and their group have a group looking at internal policies and procedures. The report found that people were staying in our facility longer and longer. Not that we were getting more people in there, it's just that their time in there just seems to be expanding. So they're working on that. And then there's an overarching thing that I think both groups are going to have to come together on as to looking at the current facility. It's no secret that report indicates that we are not giving a constitutional level of care to the people in that facility. So that is,
right.
If
any way interpreted what I'm saying is saying that we're not looking at that, that is totally incorrect.
Okay, well, I wonder because this, I think it's helpful if the Monroe County Commissioners know that the city commissioners also have a record of having an interest in criminal justice and in the jail in the past. It has been some time now since city commissioners have visited in the jail, but there were at least 2 or 3 occasions when we did that in the past. So I think that is an area where there is a common interest, a shared interest, and I'd like to see us continue to keep that on a front burner as far as our focus is concerned. Yeah.
And Latasha, I see your hand up there if folks didn't see that.
Yeah, I do have my hand raised to perhaps present for a discussion another issue we've occasionally broached in Bloomington Human Rights Commission, the concept of homelessness and transient communities in the city of Bloomington specifically. And as we were discussing criminal justice issues and concerns, it made me think tangentially about the criminalization of homeless populations in the city. And of course, there were a couple of high profile news stories about homelessness in Seminary Square. Part of the discussion that I've raised in the Bloomington Human Rights Commission meetings is this idea of using commission spaces to continue to discuss the issue of homelessness. And I was surprised that we have commissions or councils on many protected classes, Commission on the Status of Black Males, Latino Hispanic Affairs, CCA for Community Accessibility, but had not yet developed a space, at least within my 2 years of being on the commission for homelessness or houselessness or housing insecurity. though our city has a lot of homeless shelters and resources to offer. So just thinking about the place that human rights commissions might have in discussing homelessness. I know one thing that I'm always awed by, Barbara reminds us that the city of Bloomington actually includes housing status as a protected class within city ordinance. I'm not sure if that's the same for county, but I always keep that in mind in terms of what groups of people might be included in who we believe are receiving human rights and what people might be excluded. So just curious if there's been discussion on the county level about those topics, and if that's something that is appropriately within our scope as human rights commissions.
So unless someone else wants to speak on the county, they can. I do know there was a different group that had involvement from the Human Rights Commission at the county level that was recently looking into this. And they had brought forth, and someone will have to tell me what happened with this, proposal to recognize housing as a human right. And Jeff or someone else, can you tell me what happened at the county level? Did that get to the commissioners and what the reception might have been?
I'm trying to remember. I mean, it has come to the commissioners. I'm trying to remember the ultimate outcome. I don't think there was ever an ordinance approved for that. And I'm trying to remember if there was acknowledgement of that in the county's human rights ordinance. I want to say maybe, but I'll have to apologize. I didn't reread the whole thing before tonight's meeting. But I know that there is a lot of interest in addressing that. I know that we've talked with the county commissioners have discussed with the redevelopment commission about creating a residential TIF that would allow for some subsidy of housing in the county and those kind of activities. And so we're working with one of the members of the Affordable Housing Commission is actually on our redevelopment commission currently. So I know that we're taking steps to look and address some of those issues. But I'm trying to remember when we passed the Affordable Housing Commission's foundational document, whether we acknowledged the housing was very important. I don't know if we used the actual language that housing was a human right.
I'm pretty sure that the Monroe County made a change in its categories, its protected categories, to parallel what the city did when it added.
That's what I
housing
thought too.
status.
It's not on the webpage. It's not on the county's webpage, but I thought they'd added housing status and
Yeah,
veterans.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure we did with that. I'm trying to remember when we established the Affordable Housing Commission, what language we used there.
Yeah, the housing status, I believe, is yeah, also on the books. But yeah, no, more recently we had a discussion on calling it a human right and getting public attention to that. But regardless, yeah.
Didn't that go to the city council rather than to the county
There was
for passage? And then it didn't pass the city council, it seems to me.
if my memory is right, there was a Bill of Rights for homeless people or unhoused people, and there was also the housing as a human right. Those, if I recall right, those were two separate things, and the housing as a human right was much broader and had issues. I'm not sure it was actually proposed, but don't quote me on any of that because it's been a couple of years now, I think, but that's my memory. And I think the city did pass it. Did they pass the bill? I can't remember if they passed the Bill of Rights or not.
I'm not sure they did because there were some issues that were unresolved.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And I apologize. I don't know that.
Yes, we're interested. I guess that's the short answer.
Well, I would tell you that the conversations that I recall, the one of the major hard parts of that was essentially that was trying to develop a county version of HAND. And so I think the legislation have changed, so don't take this as gospel. But when we looked at that a couple years ago, the funding mechanism was curtailed by the state legislature and how you could create funding to pay for something like HAND. And so that was a fiscal struggle that we didn't know how we could overcome.
And I think the state is always trying to make it harder for HAND to do what it does as well.
Mhm.
And Latasha, I agree with you. I don't think there's a city commission. I do know, I used to be the assistant director of HAND with City of Bloomington. So I can tell you there was the South Central Housing Network in which the city routinely participates in. So if you're not familiar with them, you might check them out, but maybe you're already familiar with that entity.
And the other group is, I know that the city and the county, well, I know the county did because the council approved the appropriation last night for a partnership with the Bloomington Foundation and United Way. And I think that the county has committed almost $2.5 million to that project. Half of it out of ARPA for cost over the next 3 years, and half of it for a community foundation fund to fund it after that. So there are things going on.
How about other issues that people want to bring up? I've got a quick one, I guess I can mention as people are thinking. To me, our core is still investigating complaints. And I know we have a ton more discrimination than that is reported to us. So just ongoing ways to continue to educate the public of our existence and the ability for local action to take place on this discrimination complaints. So I don't have the answer to that, but I think that's something I imagine on the city level as well. You acknowledge there's probably more going on than what comes to us. So
Probably.
I agree. That's the area I would like to see more action on, like more education, more outreach, something. I know that we get a lot of calls in, it seems like, but not necessarily have, as a commission, doing a lot to, I feel like, follow up or do a lot in the community to mitigate those instances.
We get a lot. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying I'd like to see, more action.
thanks,
You're
Sarah.
breaking up.
I'm sorry, I'm almost home.
Okay.
And I'm sure our staff members, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And we do get a lot of calls, people are calling about an issue that's not something we can help with. And that's fine. I'm always glad to try to refer people. And I know most of the time where to refer people, but it's frustrating when you wonder about how many people who have a human rights issue who don't figure out how to call us, but these people with the broken furnace figure out how to call us. And that's usually not a Beatrice issue.
Susan, did you want to add to this topic too, I thought? And then I see Kathy after that.
Okay, yeah, one of the other, this is not on this topic, it's a new topic. So does anybody else have any?
Well, Susan, I had one comment to wrap up that other. One of the things I was thinking of is these very high profile cases, these really sad, horrible cases that we know one was resolved yesterday in the Arbery decision. I think some of that reminds people that there are abilities to bring forward things that are not necessarily crimes, but that violate people's rights. So it may be in a twisted way that having this as major news might make people think more carefully about what local outlets they have, if in fact they feel that their rights have been violated in some way. So, because we don't think about that all the time, and they've been, and since it's so rare, and those cases, of course, those are legal cases going forward, but I happen to be thinking that in the last few days, and we know that there's another one, right, another decision about to happen with the Chauvin related case, and so out of tragedy, maybe more people will be more sensitive to what their rights are and who's there to protect them.
What's your topic, Susan?
Well, back to our jail survey, which kind of went nowhere, that we have permission. We have a survey, we have permission to use it. We have people who want to administer it, and we're just not getting a lot of cooperation from the sheriff/jail. So that we're still very interested in that, I think, as the county commission, and want to carry it forward. At some point, we will have a new sheriff after the November election. So maybe it can go forward at that point, hopefully.
Would Doris or Eric, does the city commission know what we're talking about this very detailed research survey modeled on one that was done in the Netherlands? We're not talking about something that we just invented on our own. Doris, maybe, so I don't know, I don't want to repeat something you might not know about, but we were very disappointed because a lot of work went into it, including from researchers at Indiana University, so.
Right. I think the last we heard, Angie Purdy was just not able to get much traction, if you'll forgive the expression, in moving it forward with the sheriff and perhaps the jail commander. But yes, it's an extremely well-researched document, and a lot of work went into modifying it for our use and getting it authorized by the folks in the Netherlands who created it, getting those changes authorized by the folks in the Netherlands who created it for their prison system. It was created for their prison system. But, you know, my concern about it has always been, yes, we may have people who are willing to administer it, but you've got to get staff buy-in on something like that. And unless you have the jail staff agreeing that this is a good thing and that something good can come of it, it's just not going to work. It's just, that's my opinion, that you've got to have staff buy-in to get something like that done. And unless leadership is supportive of it, it's hard to encourage the staff. So that's kind of where we are with that, I think.
I'm cautiously optimistic we might have some new opportunities coming, but yeah, I think the whole commission is disappointed that we weren't able to move forward with that particular survey work due to the permissions at the jail. Yeah. I'm also a little disappointed. I just want to make the city aware, because I didn't know this till about a year ago, and maybe Goldburn is a new member as well. The city of Ellettsville is not covered by either of our bodies, and I find that very disappointing. And so I don't know if we can do anything about that, but if you are in Ellettsville randomly on Zoom today, I don't think so, encourage your city to, we'd be happy to have you as part of our jurisdiction. Right now, they're not, and they can still, of course, get recourse at the state level. But I know the state ordinance isn't written quite as comprehensively as the local one. And so that creates some concerns for those residing within Ellettsville.
I think that's also true for Steinsville or any area of the county that you have jurisdiction, as I understand it, only over the unincorporated areas of the county. So not Bloomington, not Ellettsville, not Steinsville. That's my understanding anyway.
Right.
And we took steps to ask if we could, and I don't know who the decision makers are. Remind me, Jeff, would you know who the decision makers would be in Steinsville and Ellettsville? But we got a formal, Margie managed to get a formal decision from them that no, thank you, not, yeah.
It would be the Ellettsville Town Council.
Okay. Very odd.
Anyone else? And this does not have to be our last meeting or last opportunity to get together. It looks like Erin is asking in the chat box, we need to change that. Somehow we need to include them or get them on their own. So I don't have an answer yet, Erin, but I agree with the sentiment is all I would say there. Any other topics before we move to our next agenda item? And if not, Barbara might have to let me know. I'm not sure what's your quorum. Did you reach a city quorum to take action? It looks like Valerie just signed in under attendees now.
So we have a BHRC quorum now ever since Aaron joined. Yeah. Okay,
then I'll leave it to whoever wants to take over on the city side. It looks like you had an action item on NAACP souvenir booklet. So.
And before they take over, I'd just like to say we've gotten a similar request as the county Human Rights Commission. So please pay full attention to their discussion. So
Okay.
it'll be coming to you as a question as soon as you want it.
Okay,
And-
thanks, Jeff.
And you may need to decide before your next meeting. I think the deadline was mid-March or something for, at least for us to tell them. Anyway, real quickly, I think most of the Bloomington commissioners know this. Every year for many years, we've had an ad in the program for the Monroe County NAACP souvenir booklet for their big gala banquet they have every year. And which is a 1/8 page, I think, and it just says, congratulations on your 36th year, whatever their theme is. And they asked us to do it again this year. My boss has approved it and I need your approval. It's $75.
I move that we
I'll
donate.
second.
All right, good. Didn't
Is
have
this
to
an
finish
eighth,
the
is it an
sentence.
eighth of a page?
8th or a 4th, I forget. It's not huge.
$75 is for an eighth of a page.
I think so. I'm sorry, I didn't bring materials home with me.
Well, in
I'm
any
sorry.
case, whatever that $75 will do for us.
Right.
Who gave this? Who gave the second? I didn't.
Val did.
Yeah.
Al, thank you.
So Aaron or Caroline, you need to call the roll if there's no more discussion, and you don't usually do this, but call the roll to vote on it.
Let's see. Latasha,
Yes.
Valerie,
Yes, I'm here.
Aaron,
Yes.
Callaway Thomas, yes, and Byron.
Yes.
I believe that takes care of everybody.
So how come you're the only one with the last name? Everybody else gets called out by their first names. Ha!
What happened? Val, stop needling me. I don't know. The spirit moves in different ways.
I know it does. I'm trying to get my video on. I'm having trouble with it.
Yes, let me see you.
I'm trying my best, I promise.
Valerie, if it helps, your Zoom says it's on, just it's not registering an actual video, but.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Probably the slider over the camera.
No, you know what? I just figured out what it is. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Jeff, on our end for the county, do we have a budget? Is this a concern if we wanted to do this?
If you wanted to recommend that the county also matches the $75, I can't guarantee 100%, but I'm 99.9% sure that I could make that happen.
So did we close that vote?
It passed unanimously.
Okay.
Any discussion on our end? If there's a deadline coming up?
There's that. Ah, you came and went.
I know.
My 2 cents are, I'm not opposed to it, but I will say my thought is folks who are at or seeing this ad may already be aware of us. I'd like to still support the organization, but I'd also like to include, hey, how do we get the word out beyond kind of some of the groups who are most involved in these issues in the community. So I'm okay if we would like to do this, but I'd also like us to think, how do we go beyond this particular advertisement as well, maybe?
I'm not following in terms of.
Yeah, well, so if we are on the county level advertising for NAACP, I feel like a lot of the membership or individuals who would see that souvenir booklet
I see.
are more likely to already know of our existence.
Mhm.
But I want to support the organization, and I don't mind that. But I want to continue to put our feelers beyond the traditional networks in our community. Thanks for asking.
You're welcome.
Someone want to make a motion on our end by chance?
Okay, I'll move it.
Moved by
And
Susan,
Doris? Okay.
Second.
seconded by Doris. I don't know, do we need to do a individual go around, Jeff, or can I do an everyone say aye? What's our rule?
We're on Zoom, so all votes have to be roll call.
All right. Susan,
Yes.
Doris,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Byron,
Yes,
Goldburn.
Yes.
I am a yes as well for Eric. So there we go. I guess we'll be supporting that as well. Well, if pending, I suppose, motion pending, advertisement $75, assuming that Jeff is able to get county approved.
And I guess maybe a question for Barbara is, does the City Human Rights Commission provide the graphic or whatever they print in there, or is it something that they provide? You
You're
know,
supposed to provide a camera-ready image for them, and my assistant did that on Publisher or something. I'm not sure.
So does that mean, that was my next question, is who's gonna design? I mean, are we just gonna take yours and change the name?
I
Or
will
you-
send yours, and you can do what you want to with it. We didn't copyright it or anything. I'm also having a legal question about whether Byron can vote at this meeting, both as a Bloomington commissioner and a county commissioner. Metaphysically not possible, but I'm not sure.
I don't see any reason why not. But I want to raise a question about this ad. Is it conceivable that we could double the size of the ad
I was just
and
thinking that.
include both commissions in one ad?
Good idea.
A very good idea.
Good, great idea, Byron.
Tomorrow I'll send Jeff and all the Bloomington commissioners or everybody, if I can do that, a copy of what we've prepared. And if you want to say that's what, I can't imagine why we can't do that. And we could be $150 ad, it'd be bigger. It's very simple.
Good idea.
Good, great.
Sounds like
Yeah,
we.
good idea.
Cool.
Do we have to make that an actual motion, or can we just all say, okay, we'll do it?
Okay, I think.
I think I'm okay with okay. If Jeff is.
I'm okay with that.
What I heard is that we're allowed to give $75 towards this advertisement.
Right.
And
Good.
how that works out, that works out.
We'll trust staff judgment on what that looks like. Yeah, you got it. Oh, well, on our end, we also have to approve the county's January minutes. If we can go ahead and get that finalized. Did anyone have any alterations, additions, issues with the January minutes for the county? And if not, can I get a motion to approve those?
I
see
move we
Kathy.
approve the January minutes.
Second.
Support.
All right, I'll give it to Doris. Saw Doris's hand first. Sorry, Byron. So Kathy and Doris, but let's go around. So Kathy,
I approve.
yes. Doris,
Yes.
Byron,
Yes,
Susan,
Yes.
Goldburn,
Yes.
and yes for me as well. Looks like we're okay on our minutes. Other than that, if folks are okay with it, I'm going to move to public comment to see, we have 4 attendees that are listening to us today, to see if any of those attendees have anything additional they'd like to add. I'm not sure, are they able, Andrew? Can they type in a text box or anything?
They raise their hand, I can allow them to speak.
All right, Elizabeth, Jessica, Julian, or Karen, any of you want to speak today? I only call them by their first names as I know these 4. They are students of mine who are social work field students at different community agencies, both in Monroe and Owen County. All right, looks like they are going to just listen today, and that is fine as well. Other than that, before we adjourn, anything else from folks? It's cool to
guess
have
not.
you all, by the way, at the city. I'm just glad we were able to make this happen.
I am too.
And I'm very sorry I was so late, but I was in court very late, so what can I say?
I
And we
guess
can see
my question is this something that we want to have on a reoccurring time frame or something like that, maybe semi-annually, annually, quarterly? I mean, something,
You mean
Yes.
biannually, not semi-annually?
As in twice a year
That's
instead of
twice.
every other year?
Once a year.
biannually is every 2 years.
No, semi-annually is every 2 years.
No,
No.
semi-annually is every 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah,
Whatever,
I get paid bi-weekly, so I know it means 2.
yeah,
whatever.
that's true. That's true.
Fortnightly, Jeff, is every 2 weeks. There you go. All right, so how about twice a year? I'm cool with twice a year on my end.
I
What
am
are people
too,
thinking?
twice a year.
Okay. I
And
don't
I
think we have to formalize that, at least at this point, but that sounds like a good idea for us to calendar out once we're doing our thinking.
Yeah.
And just to chime in, I just saw a reminder that the State of the City address by Mayor Hamilton, I believe, is tomorrow. And so some of the issues we discussed about criminal justice, homelessness, so on and so forth, might be an update he might provide. So just a reminder for those who tune in for City of Bloomington.
And you can go in person or it's on Zoom. And I just found out today they have a brochure table there. So there'll be some BHRC brochures in their newsletter on the table.
I think it's been quiet the last year or so, but there was a protest action there, what, 3 years ago or so? I don't know, that
More
was a
than-
little while ago.
But yeah.
Gotcha, you got it. Anyone else? Oh, Susan, do you have something?
Okay, one last question. Who's writing the minutes? Me or Barbara?
I always do the minutes automatically. I can't help myself. I will copy these and send them to Jeff, and you can borrow whatever you want from them or rewrite them if you don't like my style. It's fine.
Thank you, Barbara.
We
You're
love
such-
your style, you know.
We love your minutes.
You're
Right.
welcome.
3 minutes are the best minutes, so we'll take them. All right.
And I'll try to get them out tomorrow or Friday.
Okay,
All right, well, I suppose with that, looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thanks, Carolyn. Are we able to do that? I guess you can, right?
Second for us.
Okay, there you go. I'm not sure how this works.
I'm just gonna say adjourned. I'm not gonna say who did what because I don't know.
It was so nice to see everyone.
okay. I'll
It is.
second.
See everyone.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Good to see you. Thanks for your hard work.
Bye.
Good job, Eric.
Thanks, everyone.
Peace
Good to
out.
see everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.